Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. And we begin with a U.S. senator and hundreds of other drivers forced into snowstorm survival mode on a highway in Virginia. The mess started with an icy East Coast blizzard Monday afternoon that led to a collision involving 6 tractor trailers. As the snow piled up, the wreck rigs got even harder to move, bringing traffic for 50 miles in both directions of I-95 to a frigid standstill. And not just for a few minutes. Families were forced to car camp all night into yesterday afternoon. Some, like Senator Tim Kaine, were stranded for 27 brutally cold hours, others even longer. The first big weather wallop of the new year blanketed the mid-Atlantic and gave kids in many states a few extra, unexpected days off from school. Lucky kids in one Texas town got their own front row seat to weird weather when fish started falling from the sky. The city of Texarkana posted a picture to Facebook last week showing fish smack dab in the middle of a grassy field, radically out of place, with a caption, "No, this is not a joke." According to state officials, animal rain is a phenomenon that occurs when small creatures like frogs, crabs, and fish are swept up in waterspouts or drafts that take place on the surface of the earth. When the spouts lose energy, the animals fall back down, right along with regular raindrops. The latest COVID milestone is nothing to celebrate. On Monday alone, more than 1 million Americans tested positive. Washington, D.C. and Florida led the nation in new cases, the vast majority of which are tied to the highly contagious Omicron variant. Even the bottom of the world is getting hit. According to the BBC, at least 16 of the 25 workers at the Princess Elizabeth Polar Station in Antarctica have tested positive since the middle of December. The speed and reach of Omicron means the Grammys will probably be postponed for the second year in a row. The music awards are scheduled for January 31st, but will likely get pushed back until March, just like last year. Despite Omicron, Spider-Man: No Way Home is scaling new heights at the box office. According to Forbes magazine, the movie is well on its way to becoming North America's 4th biggest ticket seller of all time. But the success isn't going to actor Tom Holland's head. The web-slinger made good on a promise and brought real-life junior superhero Bridger Walker to the set for a day of aerial magic. The youngster made headlines in 2020 for stepping between his little sister and a very angry dog. Fellow Marvel stars, including Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, and Brie Larson, had also reached out to celebrate Bridger's heroism. Of the day on set, Bridger's appreciative dad said, "The entire cast and crew made our kids feel like stars. Individuals who heard about a little boy's injury, people who were willing to stop a very busy day of shooting to make Bridger smile." Footprints this big don't go unnoticed. Scientists from London's Natural History Museum believe that 1.5-foot-long tracks found in 2020 on a beach in Wales in the United Kingdom belong to a dinosaur that walked the Earth 200 million years ago. Having weathered a lot, the imprints are far from pristine. But the fossil experts, also known as paleobiologists, wrote in Geological magazine that they're confident the prints are dinosaur tracks given their even spacing. The experts used mapping technology to analyze the impressions and concluded they may be the tread of a bioped sauropodomorph, a ginormous long-necked plant eater, one of the biggest dinos of all time. In other KidNuz notes, don't look up. 5 big asteroids, one as big as London's Big Ben, will swing by Earth this month, starting today. All are notable for their size and how close they'll be, but NASA says none pose a danger. And Washington's football team will soon have a new name. The franchise will roll out a new identity on February 2nd, 19 months after it ditched its Redskins nickname for being racially insensitive to Native Americans. That's it for KidNuz. Now, our KidNuz quiz, generously sponsored today by sisters Phoenix and Zoe Harrison of Malvern, Pennsylvania, who saved up their hard-earned allowance to host today's quiz, and who will celebrate birthdays on March 15th and May 26th, respectively. Now, today's questions. Where did hundreds of motorists have to camp out in their cars due to a blizzard? Virginia. Where did it recently rain fish? Texarkana, Texas. How many Americans tested positive for COVID on Monday? More than 1 million. What movie is predicted to be the fourth biggest ticket seller of all time in the U.S.? Spider-Man: No Way Home. In our KidNuz Kicker, the much-hyped Harry Potter reunion debuted Saturday and featured some of the cast and directors from the franchise. In it, they recounted memories and gave fans a peek behind the magic. The 2-hour event was not without a few hiccups, though. The first came when a photo of young Emma Roberts filled the screen instead of young Emma Watson. Fans took to social media to point out the mix-up, and producers jumped in to right the wrong. The other error came during the sit-down interview with James and Oliver Phelps, who played the Weasley twins. Someone apparently couldn't tell one from the other and mixed up their on-screen identifiers. Oliver later wrote on Instagram, "I guess after all those pranks over the years, somebody decided to get their revenge." Before we head out, it's time to shout out our fabulous KidNuz teachers and their classes, starting with Mrs. Morissette at W.A. Wright in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, to California for Mrs. Carcala in the San Ramon Valley Unified School District, and Mrs. Starner and her Longhorns at Zender Ranch in Elk Grove. Mr. Wallace at Mount Roskill Intermediate in Auckland, New Zealand, where they're always a day ahead. And our loyal listeners in Mrs. B's class at Central Middle School in Greenwich, Connecticut. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to Phoenix and Zoe Harrison for sponsoring today's quiz. And we'll see you all back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.